Well, good afternoon. Glad everybody could join us. I appreciate you tolerating the music that we had playing up there. And I need to apologize because I started to start singing naturally. And fortunately, I caught myself from doing that to bear all of you the sad sight of what that would be, and glad I didn't damage anyone's hearing by doing that. So anyway, glad to have you with us today. First of all, Kara and I certainly want to say thank you very, very much to everyone for the work that you have done to help get 4-H Online 2.0 up and going, and the changes that have been made, and et cetera. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kara so that we can get started.
Thanks, Tony. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, let's see here. All right, just a few housekeeping things, just kind of like mentioned before, but don't forget that tonight is the end of 4-H Online, not the end of 4-H Online 1.0, but the end of the new year, or the old year in 1.0. So please have your group enrollments and your ES237 reports completed today, because as of tomorrow morning, all the data in 4-H Online 1.0 will be in inactive status. Enrollment is open for 4-H Online 2.0, as all of you know, and please continue to send us, like Tony said, thank you for your patience through all of the little hiccups we've run into, but please continue to send us issues you find, and please, please, please ask questions. Some administrative issues that I wanted to just kind of outline here so you all know. I've sent some of these out in my numerous emails I'm sure you've all seen from me. Years in 4-H, that is still being worked on. The calculation is not working properly necessarily. And the total years in 4-H is a little off at the moment. And we also cannot edit that at this time either. So again, tech support is working on that. Projects, years in project is also not available yet. I did notice that it's showing up in reports right now as a field, so apparently it's coming. So that's exciting to see. I did notice that earlier this morning. Hiding state projects that are not offered in your county, that's also not available at this time. So once it is, we will notify you. But right now, it's just taking some communication from your office to let families know what is and what is not offered in your county, and keeping close eye on those when you approve enrollments. Groups, only managers can add members to and adults to groups once the enrollment is approved. That will be eventually moved to where they can do that during the enrollment process, but right now you have to add members and volunteers to the groups. Adult volunteers with no birthday. Again, apologize for this one. That one, I went down the wrong rabbit hole on that one. So again, tech support's working on it, but as of right now, as if you have a volunteer who contacts you and says, I can't enroll, it's telling me I've aged out or I'm too old or whatever the message may be, you need to go into their profile, their family account, view next to that member's name, and add a birthday in for them so they can re-enroll in 4-H again, or as a volunteer. Again, that was any volunteer who came over from 1.0 that didn't have a birthday, because birthday was not required in the first version, but it is now. Minor safety training. As of right now, you can't mark completion of adult volunteers that have completed via paper training. Only I can, and we're getting that fixed as well. So just hang on to those for right now. You will be able to mark those as completed once that feature becomes available. And also still hold off. I sent that email out. When did I send that? Yesterday morning? I don't know, it's all becoming a blur. Yesterday morning about volunteers taking the volunteer training online. We ran into some file issues with Flash, so we're getting those fixed. I think we've got it pretty well resolved, but I want to get it tested a couple more times before I say it's good to go. Because what was happening was it's requiring Flash. Flash is going away, is not going to be supported anymore. So we're trying to get those files converted so they don't require Flash. And it's also causing issues with volunteers taking the training they say it's completed. They know they completed it, but it's not recording it that it has been completed. So then you can approve them. So again, hang tight on that. I will be sending out an email hopefully very soon, hopefully by the end of this week, that is fixed. Okay. So for today's training, we want to go over broadcast emails and do some review with you guys about approving enrollments, finances, reports, that type of thing. We decided not to move forward with doing event registration just yet. We will host some other webinars on that later, and then some Q&A. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen and jump into here. Okay, so again, logged in as you would be logged into your county. We mentioned this before, but please take note of this enrollment. This is some great numbers for you to get, as soon as you log in each day, you can see exactly where you're at, how many have been approved, the submitted, the incomplete. Obviously this is the state office, it's pretty small, so hopefully yours look a little better. And Tony will probably show you here in a little bit on the statewide, it's much larger. Okay, so we're gonna talk about broadcast emails first. So I'm gonna go to, not managers, I always click on managers, members first. So to send broadcast emails, there's multiple ways to do that now. So from the members screen, if you wanted to search for a group of people and send them an email, you could do that. So I have in here approved, so I've searched for anybody who was in approved status. And so I'm going to send them a broadcast email. So from here, I'm going to type in what I want my title to say. Send to families is an option. Excuse me. My rule of thumb, I always like to send to members, especially for like those older members or other volunteers in a family that might have their own personal email. This goes directly to them. If they do not have their own separate email tied to their member account, it will automatically go to that primary family email. Then you can also send to families. Send emergency contacts if you choose to do that, you can. Send to guardians. Send to unsubscribed. I can't find yet where they can unsubscribe, so right now I think you're okay. Use my email reply to. Remember, if you are sending the email, check that box. If you don't check that box, all the replies will go back to the primary person in your county. If you're okay with that, it's fine too. Sending a text message. I did get a note, was it late last week or earlier in the week, that this feature wasn't quite working yet. And when I checked with tech support, they said it's not quite ready yet. So the text message option, you can try it, but it may not go through. So from here, it takes you right into your email that you're going to send email details. You can edit that and change your title or subject if you want. It's showing you here who you're sending it to and who it's going to come from. Your email content, you'll edit this, type in the content of your email. You can have it address names, members, any of those types of fields you want to include into here. Once you have that typed in, it'll show you a sample of what that will look like right here. Scrolling on down, attachments, you can add attachments, PDFs, Word documents. I don't know, I'm gonna click on images because I don't know, pictures. Yep, looks like you can, any file. Options, those were all the options you clicked on from the beginning. So if you need to make any changes, you can do that to recipients. And then down below is who it will all go to. And again, it will, like in 1.0, it will recognize that if there's not a different email attached, it will just send to the one email and it will only send it to them one time. Once you have everything that you want, you can come back up here to the top and hit send. So once you send that email, it takes you then over here under, you'll notice you're now under the broadcasts tab. And here's a list of the emails that you have sent. Currently, it only shows the emails that you have sent, not ones that anybody in your office has sent. So you'll see that this one is in sending status. This is the one I sent yesterday in the training. So I'm going to click on that one because it is complete. And it will show you the details like it would in 1.0. You would click back on that email that you had sent. It'll show you who it's sent to, how many of them opened it, how many were delivered. Come on down here, delivered, it'll actually list them all out and who opened the email. If any of them failed, those will show up down here as well. Gives you the content. If you had added attachments, those will be here too. And all the options you had sent. Okay, so again, you can send broadcasts from the members list. So if you search for a group of people under members, you can send them a broadcast email. Under participation, same thing. Again, similar search screen, but under this tab, you can search by project. So you could send all the kids in beef, signed up for the beef project. You could send all of them an email from the screen. Registrations, once you have members signed up for events, you can send them broadcast emails. Again, under broadcast, that's where those live. Under enrollments, anybody who's been approved, you can send them a broadcast email. And then under each individual report that you create, you can go into that report. You can edit the report and send a broadcast email directly from that report. The only place that you can't send reports from, or you can't send broadcast emails from is under the trainings tab. It's something I've asked about because that would be nice to just be able to go here and send all those people that aren't complete an email from this screen. But under the members tab, from the status of trainings not completed, you can search for that group and send them a broadcast email that way.
Kara, we've got a couple questions that I'd like for you to address. One is, can you do a search and then flag certain members and then just do an email only to those flagged members?
Yes. So let's see here. If I flag a couple people, let's just, well, I thought so. Hold on. I don't have my like little flagged option up here like we did in 1.0. So I want to see. I'll have to ask about that because I don't see, it's like we're flagging them, but what can we do with the flagged? So good question. I will ask about that one.
All right, and then the next question is there a report, like you showed the status of an email, a broadcast email that showed the delivered, the open, et cetera. Is there a report that can be ran, or does we have to just go in and look at that individually?
I don't know if you can run a report on that. I know going into each of those emails directly, you would get that information, but I don't know about reports. Okay, and then Vermilion County is asking under participations,
For projects, they are listed alphabetically ascending. Can we change that to descending? And I don't believe so, but
You can ask. I know, because when I look for, when I'm on the like state side, the counties are that way too. It's just, we can ask if they'll switch it to the other way, but yeah, I don't know. Nothing that we can manage at this moment.
yeah. So I think we'll just have to stick with that. When we send a broadcast email, will it show our name or will it show County Manager 1 or whatever we had in 1.0?
I've got to figure that one out still. So my husband's email was in that email I just sent. So I'm going to make him open it this evening and tell me who it's coming from. Cause I want to know the same thing. Cause in 1.0, that's why primarily your names were the Purdue Extension dash whatever county, because that's who it was coming from when you sent an email. So I need to figure out what exactly it's saying now. Cause yeah, when we were in that email, let's see if it'll show me. Yeah, so it's acting like it's coming from my email. So I wonder if it's still stating my email or if it actually gives a name. So we need to look at that.
Will custom reports roll over from 1.0 to 2.0? And the answer is no. You're going to have to recreate all of your custom reports. Now you can, 1.0 is still going to be available to us for a long time. So definitely go to 1.0 and look and see what your reports are and the fields that you've got, so that when you come over to 2.0 and recreate that report, you'll have a sense of what kind of information needs to be in there.
Yep. Okay.
Other questions? All right, we're caught up in the chat box.
Okay. So enrollments, we'll just run through that again, how to approve enrollments as a review. So anybody you have approved, they will show up here under your enrollments tab, approved. Anybody who you've approved and still owes payment, they will show up under here. And then awaiting review is all those that are waiting for you to review those. So I'm going to click on this one first, this Lily Boilermaker. Oh, again, don't forget the clock means that it is ready for you to approve. The guy with the little cap is telling you that they still need to complete their training. So I'm going to click on Lily here. So I'm going to look through clubs. You cannot change their clubs from this screen. You would have to wait until after they were approved to move them into a different club. Projects, you can edit that from this screen if you needed to add anything or remove anything from this list. Demographics, you can edit most things through here. The only thing you cannot at this time is this years in program. And remember that this years in program is the total years in the program. So while this may only be their second year in 4-H, it is counting as a 3 because they had participated 1 year in mini 4-H. But again, I know the calculation's not quite right because right now it's defaulting anybody who signed up as a club member. It's also counting many years, even if they weren't in many years. So tech support is working on that for us. Again, just making sure they went through all their, they did all their consents. Here's their fee. And if they did pay with credit card, it will show up here that they paid with credit card. If there's not a payment here, then that is just that they are paying with check. So I'm going to go ahead and approve this one. So this one is one of those instances where I'm going to approve it. You'll notice she didn't show up under payment due, even though she was paying with a check, because she was a 5th member of the family. So even though it looked like it was still charging her, since I already approved 3 members in her family that were youth members, she is free. So it does discount her. So I know it looks a little scary. It's like, it still looks like it's charging them, but approving that 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever child will discount them. So she automatically will show up under my approved list under here, Lily Boilermaker. But I'm going to approve one that I know I need to collect fees from. So this one, sign up for beekeeping. Everything looks good. Yeah, see, this is wrong because it's calculating too many years that she didn't do. But again, we will have to wait to edit that. But I'm going to approve. Now she shows up under my payment due. So I've approved her. I'm going to wait here at this point because she's not paid me in the office just yet. So once she does pay me in the office, I can come in here to this payment due, click on her, check this box, and approve it. So now she is waiting under the bills tab for me to add to an invoice so I can then send money to the state office. Now, a couple things. You have the option of going ahead and approving members that have decided to pay by check. You could, go in here and approve all these people, and then, wait until they give you money to then approve them under the payment due to put them on an invoice. The only thing with that is if you go ahead and approve them and they're under this payment due, kind of like in 1.0, you can't reverse it if they decide that they want to pay with credit card once they're past that first step. So if you want to still hold off until you have money to approve them from this awaiting review, it's probably still the best plan, because again, if they would decide later, like, hey, I want to pay with credit card, if they're still under this awaiting review, they still have that option, because you can go in here and send it back to them so they can put in a credit card. So I had approved her. She'd give me her money. So I'm going to go into bills, and I'm going to add a bill. So she shows up. If I had 5, 6 other ones on here, I'd want to probably wait a little bit and get more on here before I'd make a bill, but I will create a bill. It's pretty simple. Just create a bill. And then you will actually click back on bills. And then today is the 14th, so I will click on this one. And then up here in the top, you can click invoice and print the PDF and send that with the check to send to me. Pretty simple. And you can go back to these at any time under bills to print if you need to print a copy for yourself. And then you'll also see from here, when I get that, this will change to yes when I receive the bill. So that's kind of nice. You guys will know that right off the bat by just clicking on bills if I've received it and processed it. Any questions on that?
Not necessarily on that, but we do have several questions that have came in. What's the best way to send out emails to both 2020 members as well as the new ones in 2021? And I'm going to suggest that we do just like we did 5 years ago when we transitioned from ED to 4HOnline 1.0. And this is the year that you'll need to use both systems. So those that were enrolled last year, you're going to send emails out through 4HOnline 1.0, reminding them of the re-enrollment process and the new link to go to in order to enroll. And then for those that have already enrolled in 2.0, you may need to send out emails from, depending on what you're doing and what you're wanting to get out, send out information to the new members in 1.0, or to me in 2.0. So some members may be receiving duplicates, but probably not very many. Kara, do you have other suggestions?
I think that, yeah, I think at this point, that's what we're going to have to do. Because when I was playing with reports earlier today, it's kind of difficult to get some of those who've not re-enrolled just yet, I think. So, yeah, I think working out of 1.0 is going to be your best bet to get those members that haven't enrolled yet.
Yep. Can we show, or can you show us how families can add and drop projects on their own?
So we learned this yesterday, that they cannot add and drop projects after they've been approved. So again, something on our list that we'll be pushing to allow that. So right now, only managers can add and drop projects for youth at this time after that account has been approved. Again, something we learned yesterday that we will definitely be pushing tech support to resolve.
Kara, should we approve someone's enrollment without having payment received?
No. I would always wait for, like I said, multiple reasons. One, if leaving them in that awaiting review until they've paid you, best option, because again, if they're like, well, we want to just go ahead and pay with credit card, you can send that back. They can send credit card. Again, we don't want to approve people if they're not committing to being a part of the program. So we don't have people tied up under a payment status. Because again, I don't know how we can, at this point, I don't know how we can back people out of it. I knew how to kind of back people out of it in 1.0, but I've not learned how to do it in 2.0 yet. So if you could just hold off on approving anybody until you have payment, best option.
So where do we mark that at the end of the year, where do we mark that a 4-H member has either completed or was incomplete for the year?
Don't have that answer just yet.
Okay.
I don't have that completion option yet.
Right. And this is a fair entry type question, fair entry arts and crafts. If the county has something different that doesn't align perfectly with what our state fair is, you'll just have, for example, if you have arts and crafts ceramics at your county fair, and obviously we don't have that for the state. You can't just hit the promote button. You'll have to manually enter that in fair entry, the same as you have done in prior years. Can a club be switched in the middle of the year without losing all the projects like happened in 1.0?
I think you see, because projects are still tied to a club, so you'll still want to you'll want to add the new club, add the projects in before deleting the old club.
Okay. If we accidentally approve an enrollment without payment, who do we contact?
For now, if they've not, we're still early enough in the game, but if they don't pay you by the spring, let me know, and then we'll figure out what to do from there.
Okay. If county projects are absorbed under state projects, does that mean they're eligible for state fair? And I'm not exactly sure what that question refers to. So whoever sent that, if you can give me a call directly, I'll be glad to discuss further with you. And then there's some more that came in that I have not been able to meet yet. What's the best way to check for duplicate member records?
So this system's a little bit smarter than the last one. So it shouldn't let them make duplicates. I did find one instance where somebody outsmarted it. I've already had one request. And at this time, I don't have an option to merge anything. So if you come across somebody that has a duplicate profile, so for instance, if they were an archived profile in 1.0 and they've come over this time and they're also archived and they've made a new profile, let me know and I'll walk you through that process, because we can unarchive it. They can go in and delete the new one that they made, and then they can re-enroll the old one. But at this time, I don't have an option to merge them. So, but for the most part, it's pretty smart, and it won't let them make a new profile, especially, and even with the archived ones, because I take that back now, because I had somebody reach out to me today. It's smart enough to know that there's an archive profile in there, and it's not going to let them move forward until they re-enroll that archived one. So.
Right. Why is there a foods project and also foods baked and foods preserved, same with sewing? And that's quite simple. And the answer is that when Kara and I were looking through all the county project lists last year and trying to figure out how we can simplify that for this year, we noticed that about half of the counties had just foods. The other half of the counties had both foods baked and foods preserved as primary. So when we set up the state projects, we were under the assumption that the hide button was going to be there when we got started. So that's why we left it as foods, foods baked, and foods preserved, so that knowing that half of the counties would turn off foods and half of the counties would turn off foods baked, foods preserved. Same with sewing. And so we have desperately let them know that that hide button is critical, and they tell us that they're working on it. We're not sure when it's going to happen, but as soon as it does, you'll be able to turn off some of those state projects that are not necessary within your county. Let's see, in 4H Online 1.0, we can go to their profile and see if they opened their email. I know that we can see it in the broadcast email section, but could we see all the emails they've opened on their profile? I think that was in that audit screen in 1.0.
Yeah, I don't have that in this one just yet. Like I said, it's still per email of what we can see that they've opened.
And those are all the questions.
All right.
Well, wait a minute. Can you show us how to move a family to another county, or move one member to a different family?
Moving a member to another family, that was a question yesterday, and I've got to check it in on that one because I don't know how to do that yet either. But I can show you how to move them to another county. So if you have a family that's getting ready to re-enroll and they need to move, like the whole family is going to move to another county, you can search for at least one of the members. Gonna take that out of here. So you just click on a member's name, come up to this members list, go to the family, and then you just change the county under county, and it will move the entire family to that other county. So then when they re-enroll, they'll be able to change it under their profile. Once the kids start going through, once they start re-enrolling them, they can pick another county to pick all their clubs, and the whole family will be moved to that new county.
All right, I believe that takes care of the questions, Kara.
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing mine so you can share yours, Tony, so you can do reports.
Yeah, so real quick, this is the dashboard for the state office that we're looking at, all statewide. And so as you can see right now, as of this moment, there are 1,245 enrollments that have been approved statewide. 657 additional enrollments have been submitted. 481 enrollments have been started but not yet completed. And so, you know, and when you see 22 that have been sent back and then resubmitted as well. So, you know, this is a really good tool to give you a snapshot of what's going on within your particular county. And again, you know, with credit card payments, even though they're putting in the credit card information, it really doesn't get hit to their credit card until you actually approve their enrollment. So be sure to make sure, you know, go in and double check those and try and stay caught up on those credit card payments on a daily or bi-daily basis, so that we can make sure that we stay on top of things. But more importantly, for those people who are paying with a debit card, we don't want to have them put in their money thinking that it's going to be taken out of their account in a short period of time, and then 2 or 3 weeks later they find out that now they're in a deficit situation in their banking account because of the lag time that it took for us to process their enrollment and hit that credit card information. So with custom reports, we're going to come down here just as a reminder. We come down here to custom reports, and again, you're not going to be able to break anything. So get in here, play around. If you don't like a report that you fixed, delete it and start over again. But we're going to build a report today that's going to look for our first year 4-H members. And so I want to do that in my member reports folder, and I'm just going to add the report, first year in 4-H. And I think that self-describes it. And on this title for the Excel sheet, that's the little title that's going to be on the tab of that spreadsheet. And so we start up here with the program year and the hierarchy. If I wanted to go to a different county, I could, but looking for this particular program year, if I wanted to go back, I could. But again, the data that was brought over is not going to be extremely accurate. So we're just looking for this year's data in the columns. I just want to find out, I want to know what county they're from. I also would like to know their name. And so, I'm going to put in their first name and their last name. And that's really the only information that I'm looking for right now. I guess, I would like to know, maybe their role, whether they're mini or where would that be at? Anyway, we're trying to learn where all the different things are as well. So anyway, we're just going to go with the name of the county and the name of the individual. And then we start looking here at our standard filters, and we could either specify the dates that we're looking for. Here's that flagged option, and so back to the question about flagging and then sending a report. You could do your search and then just hit the button here designating the flagged members. So that's one way to get around it. If we wanted to look at ages, we could certainly do that. I'm going to restrict this report simply to the youth, and the program status, I want them to be active. Program year status, again, I want that to be active. The member participation, I want to look at the approved members and the enrollment roll. I'm going to want just the 4-H members. I'm going to, this other information I don't necessarily need, but if we wanted to include particular projects, we could certainly include those as well. And so I get ready to save that. And then over here in the custom filters, I'm going to add a group and add a filter. And I want just the years in 4-H that have been 1 year. And where's that at? Total years in program, I'm going to do equal to 1, and I'm going to save that. If I wanted to add another filter in, I could certainly do that as well. And then I want to sort it by county. I think I did something wrong. And then also, I want to sort it by last name. So I hit the save button too soon there. And then I want to group them by county. And I also want to count the records. And so from here, You know, sometimes this preview, what Karen and I have found is that sometimes this preview works and sometimes it doesn't. So right now we're going to come up here and download the PDF file, open it up, and there's 5 pages of those youth who are first year in 4-H, right? And someone asked yesterday, you know, as we were doing this, well, what happens if I want to include our minis as well? Well, we can certainly do that by just coming down here, and we're going to edit the standard filters. And where it included club member, we can also include minis. Save that. Run it again. And now we've gone from 5 pages to 10 pages of the report, right? And so there's a quick overview of custom reports. Any questions that I can answer on custom reports?
Don't see any yet in the chat box, Tony.
All right.
We have a couple other questions.
Yep.
How do we share members with a second county? So whoever the primary county is, they will be the ones to still approve that enrollment. So if they paid with a credit card, again, when we go to reconcile fees with the business office, we'll have to let them know that we have some shared counties so those fees can be distributed back if they had to pay any county fees. You'll still be able to see those members under your list that are the secondary. If you're the secondary or the primary and you share it with another county, you'll still be able to see those members listed. I need to move a family to another county. I can edit, but it won't let me change the county. Okay, Sue, send me an email about that and I'll take a look at what's going on. What's the difference between member program status and member program year status? Under the reports, I'm listening.
And that's some terminology that we're still learning as well. This is new to us.
Yeah.
As soon as we know, we will let you know.
Yeah. Program status, year status. Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, I've noticed that there is 2 different ones, so we'd have to that. Will we be able to create a custom report by groups? For example, if I want a report of all the swine committee volunteers. So I believe so. Those would still be under columns for groups. Let me. It's units. Well, I'm gonna have to check on that one because I don't see groups as an option under any of the custom filters or even the report columns. So that's a good question. I will take note of that. In creating reports, how do we share with other managers? I create a report in my profile, but it doesn't show up in the other managers. Tony, you want to go over that report sharing?
Yes. So let me share my screen again. Okay, so so when we look at our custom reports, if we want to share a report like this first year member report, I can click on this and then I can click on share. And so if I click on this share button, you know, it should, what I just did is I shared it with everybody within our state 4-H program area who has an account, because it's at the state level. But if I were, you know, within your county, that's how you're going to share it with a particular individual, with everyone within your county office. If you want to share that report with just someone within your office, then you're going to click on send report, and then you would type in their email address or their name. And now you can send that report to them. And that's how you can do the sharing. If you have issues with a report and Kara and I need to look at it and help you troubleshoot, figure out where the issues might be at, that's how you're going to be able to get it to us, because we can't log in and physically see the report the same as we could in 1.0. So if we ask you to send us the report, that's what you're going to do, is you're going to just use the send report button to do that. You can see here that first year in 4-H that I shared. If I don't want to share that with you anymore, you know, I'm going to pick up my toys and go back home. So I'm just going to unshare. There you go. And now you don't have access to it anymore.
Actually, Tony, I'm going to back you up on that one, because I learned this morning about all kinds of things this morning. We can now go into their profiles and look at their reports. They don't have to send them to us anymore. So that's a perk.
That's a great feature that we'll have for you. Then.
I just happened to stumble upon that. Well, and it's a good thing for many things, because yes, I can go into their county, but being able to go into somebody's particular profile so I can see what's going on and troubleshoot. So yay, that's a thing now.
But that would also be a great way, you know, like for areas that are doing multi-county camps, yes. And you want to do reports, and instead of everybody having to create the same report and duplicate that effort, one person can create it, and then they can send that to others within that camp group, so they don't have to waste time building the same report.
Yes, that'd be awesome. Okay. What else we got? Do you know the difference between participation years in the program and youth years in program? I know in 1.0 that type of years participation included many 4-H years plus and regular. So let me go to a member's profile. It's just easier to look at it that way. This kid. So the youth years in program should be the years so that's their club membership years. So that's the year. So if this is their first year, second year in 4-H as a club member, that's the youth years in program. And then the total years in program is going to count the years that they're also in mini 4-H. Because there's 3, when you go into somebody's profile, you can see right now it says Cloverbud. That will be changed at some point, but it says Cloverbud years in program, youth years in program, adult years in program. And then there's total years in program excluding mini 4-H, and then there's total years in program. So total should be the total of all of those. In creating a custom report and choosing a club, it shows all clubs across the state. Is there a way to only have our county clubs? Yeah, that was brought to our attention yesterday, and that's something I've put into tech support as well. It should only be the clubs in your county. So I'm working on, they're going to work on getting that fixed. When you share reports, will leaders have access to eventually, or just office staff? Julie, not sure yet what that's going to look like for club management. As soon as we have that information, we'll let you know. We've noticed that years in project is not recorded. Did we miss something? So, yep, we know it's essential. So it's not there yet. Like I said, I noticed it in reports today when I was playing around in reports this morning that years in project is in there for a filter for reports, but it's not appearing yet for years in projects under where they enroll in the projects yet. Again, something we have put in as a request. Hopefully it appears soon.
And we apologize that we're having to tell you that there are some things that we're still waiting on. But I think you would all agree that for the most part, this program is up and going, and it's working really, really well. And it's a whole lot nicer and has some better features to it than what the old system was. So while we're still waiting on some things to be taken care of, let's be thankful that we do have a really good system that we're on the front side of. And once we get all the bugs worked out, and as you keep finding things, please continue to tell us what is going on or what's not going on, so that we can report that to tech support. And not only are we providing them with things, but so are 46 other states that are using this system as well.
It was asked yesterday, so I was going to put this out there too. So I know in the past with reports, we had some state reports that we shared with you all. So again, so you wouldn't have to reinvent the wheel. As we go along, we will be building more of those reports, and you will see those become available under your custom reports under a shared folder. Also, it's on my agenda for next week to record a how-to for enrollment for youth. So I will be doing that next week and also along with volunteers on how to, a little quick video tutorial that you all can share with families.
And for Abby's question, for volunteers that were up to date and were working with minors training in 4HOnline 1.0, will that carry over into 2.0? I'm not sure exactly whether that data transfers or not. However, it really doesn't matter, because if you've looked at the updated policies and procedures that Steve has sent out, we are now requiring this programs with minors training on an annual basis as part of the annual enrollment/re-enrollment process. So again, that's one less thing that you are going to have to manage within your office. If you know that volunteers are approved, then you know that they have completed the training. And if they haven't been approved, then there's a reason why, and it could be that you're waiting on reference checks. It could be that they haven't completed that training, etc. And that was a request from lots of county educators that we've honored. Other questions? All right, well, again, thank you very much for all the work that you're doing. And if you have any questions as you're moving through, if you come across any issues, please let Kara and I know, and we will try to work on them as best we can. We want the 4HOnline enrollment system to be a tool that can help make your job easier in managing the enrollment and the enrollment process and the data that goes along with that. So that when it comes time for the fair, what, about eight or 9 months now, that I think Connie having her fingers over here. When it comes time for the fair, that the data will transfer really smoothly from 4HOnline over to fair entry, and we'll have a successful program for everyone involved, and a much less stressful program for everyone involved, including our families. So with that, you all have a great day, and enjoy what's left of the sunshine out here before the rain comes in. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.